Welcome back to Bit on the Side, the show that's tougher than an old piece of Julie's gum, but we still manage to stay fresh. Speaking of Julie, I knew I'd put it in here before I left the house. I don't seem to find... there it is. An exclusive. Your daily dose of exclusive from today's task, where housemates guessed who sent them a bouquet of flowers. Enjoy.
Would the situation collect his bouquet of flowers from the table? Who said, over the last couple of days, he has fallen hard for Danica? His heart has taken a beating in the last 24 hours.
Wow. Thanks. Samantha?
You are correct.
Yes!
Bravo, bravo.
Hi! Right, so last night the Celeb spent 136 minutes nominating in the diary room. That's almost the same number of luxury items that Danica has on her wish list. But here to tell us why their bodies have betrayed what their mouths were saying is body language expert Judy James. Bet's bag. A kind of replica of Bet's bag. It's not the official one. That is clearly still with Bet. Right, so Judy, let's talk about the recent set of nominations. Last week we saw them do it face-to-face. Last night was the first time they did it in the diary room. So what was the difference that you saw in them?
I mean, you've got an emotionally incontinent house anyway. I mean, their emotions are all over the place. Face-to-face, they obviously wanted to look good to one another, so it's a bit like Oscar acceptance speech body language. It was tears, it was Greek tragedy, everybody trying to be nice, loving. This was fascinating, though, this second set, because they were much more congruent with their body language. They were quite attacking, they were very direct, very focused. There wasn't a lot of what's called leakage going on. I think they were quite enjoying the chance. Leakage on a bad day, it's on a good day, it's when we fiddle and twiddle and things like that.
Oh, like I'm doing now. What does that tell you then? What does leakage mean?
You're doing a self-pick, aren't you?
Yeah.
Tiny touch.
Does that mean I'm trying to look intellectual?
That means you are intellectual. But they were quite comfortable being attacking. And did you notice the young ones, the vocal tone actually dropped? They stopped being young and babyish. They became very direct. They used a much lower tone and really getting the boot into some of the older housemates.
Talking of the older housemates, we saw Julie and Colleen nominate each other again. What is going on there?
Actually, some of it is body language. I think they've mentioned about the eye contact and things like that, but I think a lot of it is that you've got two house mothers in there. You've actually got three with Samantha, which is kind of too many. You've got Julie and Samantha taking care of the nurturing parent role, so Samantha's doing the cooking, Julie's doing the hugs and things like that.
So does that mean Colleen is left out?
Well, Colleen, in a way, was doing more critical parent. She was telling them off, but she's doing a lot more of the hugging now, so in a way I think they're moving into one another's territory. And
is there any room for one?
Oh, absolutely. Just about room for one. I mean, they're big characters as well.
So what will happen, do you
they're
think?
quite similar, and I think that's causing a lot of the problems.
OK. We've seen Martin and Julian talk about the different groups in the house. How do you see the groups?
It is literally a bizarre age gap. They've actually formed a kind of weird family unit, and I haven't seen that on Big Brother for a long, long time. You've got Martin almost taking the father role. You've got all of these mothers milling around, and then you've got these pseudo-infantile children. I mean, they're not even children.
They all seem to get on, to a certain extent.
I'm not sure. I think, you know, the waters are about to break, actually, on this one, because...
Why? What do you think is going to happen?
Well, the children will behave like children, and they're liking it because it makes them safe. They feel that they're being looked after by the parents, but they can turn into a rebellious child. In fact, Jasmine going will probably cause the biggest rift, because she was scaring everybody, which was keeping the children in check, so they weren't actually being rebellious at all, but now she's gone. When an attacking animal leaves a group, the other animals often start attacking one another. It's a kind of vacuum of aggression.
So they're going to start attacking each other?
I think of themselves even with the finger pick.
What about Martin, though? We've talked about him being the house alpha. He was the only one on going into the house that told Brian that he had a game plan, yet he's received no nominations at all. So is he untouchable?
No, I mean, I think he's actually... He could be quite vulnerable. I think he's being very nice. I mean, his game plan is...
He's very confident.
Extremely, but quite spatial, and this is quite high in status. Now, at the moment, he's smiling, he's doing press-ups and things like that. He could suffer from the Gulliver syndrome, which is that high-ranking, successful males don't usually do very well in Big Brother. I mean, if you think of people like Michael Marsden, Vinnie Jones, they went in for the first week, everybody respected them. And in a way, they liked basking in the reflected glory because it was a high-ranking person, it made them feel better. But once it levels out, you often find that the smaller characters will see them as a threat and start snipping and sniping at them. Just watch for the first criticisms. Do you think they're all brave enough
to start snipping? Because when he walked into that house went silent.
It did, didn't it? And the word king was used, I think.
Yeah.
No, they will watch for vulnerability. I mean, they're a strong group, the young group, and you watch, they'll just start putting out a few feelers, just a few little comments, and if they start getting, oh, yeah, I agree with you, then just watch, they might start making a move on him.
OK, well, we saw Martin having a chat about the ladies, and he certainly thinks he's got the girls sussed. Let's have a look at that again.
I think Danny is... she's kind of flirty, and I think that's her game. She's getting around all the guys by just a little bit of flirt here and there. I can see it, what she's doing. And what it looks to me is that all the girls that would really want to stay on in the competition in Big Brother to further their career are playing the game. I'm not sure about the boys. I think the boys are just getting on with it and enjoying the fun, but the girls definitely are.
We've seen Martin say that he thinks Danica's game plan is to flirt with all of the boys. What do you make to her behaviour inside the house?
She's just a masterclass in flirting. I mean, I've written about it. I've seen theories about it, but she puts it all into practice. I mean,
she is very good.
Extremely good. I mean, it really works. She does it like painting by numbers. I mean, firstly, she does the proximity. She moves in really closely to the guys. Then she does the eye contact, the prolonged eye contact, which I think they've noticed. Then she does the flick, which is going from the eyes to the mouth. And then she starts doing this self-touch preen thing with the hair. I mean, she was really going with her hair, and it was so phallic the other night. And then she even, I mean, I thought she's not up to chapter 4 yet, but she is, because she went on to the ignore, you know, with the situation. Suddenly she cut off, and that's classic, because it makes him do the running.
Let's take a look at her in action. This is when she's having a heart-to-heart with Prince Lorenzo whilst dressed as a hooker. Those are her words, not mine or Jasmine's. Have a look at this.
I'll taste a bit.
Of your glitter?
It's horrible, isn't it? Do you want to fill my wig again?
Yes. It's like, oh, yeah, see, that could get me going, but...
Could it?
I'm like easy. I'm like, yeah.
It's this bit here I like.
But your deal is that, like, you're really good at flirting.
Oh, sorry, I know.
I'm not the type that's like...
Fill my wig again?
Not really. It's gonna remind me of, like, being home and off. So, where was I going with this?
Are you as speechless as Lorenzo is?
She's turned his brain to mush. I mean, how did she know that he got a thing for mauve wigs, you know? Did she see it on his CV on the way in? I mean, she actually gets... I think she got that glitter out of her own mouth and put it in his mouth.
It's very seductive.
Extreme. I mean, she's not embarrassed to do it, and the awful thing is it works as well. But, I mean, she has got... she's got this fabulous body, but then she's got this very childlike facial features, so I think men will probably think she'll create cognitive kind of grief to them because she looks quite innocent as well.
Do you think the men are aware of it? I think women are aware of it because we're women and we kind of know how women work.
Right.
But are the men that aware of it?
I think even if they are, they can't do anything about it. It's like a kind of tidal wave of flirting. And I think she just mashes them up in her path. I mean, they know what she does for a living. They've used the word rinsing themselves. They probably feel they're being rinsed, but they actually, I don't know, maybe they enjoy it.
Do you think she'll rinse the situation?
Oh, she's rinsed the prince, hasn't she? So, yes, yeah. This is her talent. This is what she's good at.
OK, Judy, thank you so much. Judy James, everybody. Right, when we come back, just when you thought the celebrity quota couldn't get any higher, I will be joined by a Nolan sister and a man who knows exactly what Julie Goodyear keeps in, not this one, but her wash bag. We'll see you in a bit. Welcome back to Big Brother's Bit on the Side. Now, there's an old saying, give a man a fish and he will eat for a day. Give a man a reality spin-off and he will eat for a day and watch a reality spin-off show. It's insightful, isn't it? Rian gave me that one. So it's day 9, and by now you should know that Julie is just Julie, and we are exclusively exclusive. Here is another one just for you.
I come bearing gifts, everyone. Here's your pictures, Jules.
What?
Your pictures.
No.
Yes.
Are you serious?
Yeah. Let me see your pickies.
Oh, that got tuna in it. Oh, salad with tuna in it.
Is that the boy?
No, it's just vegetables. Oh, is it? What's this? Chips. Tuna.
Everyone getting their photos, and I saw Ria get her photos, and obviously I think on one of her photos was her boyfriend, and Danica was like, is that the guy? And she was like, yeah, and happy. So on that light, I'm happy for her, but I think for me, I think it's not even jealousy. I think for me, I'm just gonna leave it now. Do you know what I mean? I'm not gonna proceed on trying. Do you know what I mean? I'd rather just be happy with a guy, and even if it means like not talking to her, benefit of her and her fella, I think that's what I'm gonna do now.
Let's quickly go over to Karina. Karina, you obviously know him really well. How do you think he's dealing with the whole Rian situation?
I think he's a bit gutted, to be honest. I think he's probably not used to being rejected. So I think he probably will just keep his head down now, actually,
yeah.
and hopefully he'll start enjoying the experience a bit more instead of being so sort of obsessed with one person. A little bit of a bruised
ego, maybe.
I think so, possibly, yeah. But I won't stop him. I'm sure he'll bounce back and have loads of fun.
He'll have loads of fun when he comes out of the house, I'm sure.
Without a doubt.
OK, so forget Jasmine versus Rian. There is a new stormer brewing in the form of Julie and Colleen. And here to help me get to the bottom of why they don't get on are two very special VIP guests. One of them has supported Frank Sinatra and sung her way around the world with her 5 sisters. The other has been romantically involved with a soap superstar for over 16 years. Please welcome Colleen's sister Linda and Julie's husband Scott. Thank you so much for coming on this evening. I think you should both be really chuffed because both people who you're here to support are doing fantastically well in the house. Scott, let's start with you. Now, Julie told Cheryl that you were her stalker. Can you explain this situation to us?
Basically, it's gone out of context.
OK.
I was HGV driver, and I was delivering to Julie's farm a load of plaster, and I went there on the Monday, and I went there every day, twice a day, for the week. For a re-delivery of things? It was always the wrong delivery. Right, OK. They buggered it up at the factory, basically. And I kept going back, and she said I was a stalker. So it was a fateful meeting, really, rather than a stalker in the sense of the word that we think of as stalker? Basically, there's something going out in the press at the moment that I sat in a tree. Really? Yeah. It's on your website. It's on your website. You didn't sit in a tree? No. Fantastic. I'm glad. I'm glad about that. Now, they both nominated each other again last night. Scott, why do you think they don't get on? Basically, they've both gone in there thinking they're going to be both mother ends, and there's only one could do it. And really, if Colleen wants to take the role over, go ahead and do it. Julie will just say, get on with it. It's too much hassle. Do you think Colleen went in there to kind of be the mother hen?
I think Colleen went in there to be herself, and I think that's the difference.
OK. Let's talk... let's talk about the hard pie to the face.
Let's talk about the hard pie to the face.
Do you think there was
really
any
venom.
malice in what Colleen did?
I think, again, Colleen sat on the couch and said, oh, wouldn't it be funny to pie Bet Lynch? She didn't whisper it, as was relayed in the diary room. She didn't whisper it, there was no malice. It was funny to pie Bet. And when she went up and, you know, Julie said in the diary room, with venom, I mean, please, if you have that, show it again. She actually goes up and puts the pie on her face.
Yeah.
Unlike me. I'd have, you know...